Today's transfer market is insane. Besides the confirmed signing of Vaclav Kerney, which we'll discuss today, Clement has his eye on 2 more players to bring in as soon as possible. One of them is Shankland, and we have updates on 3 imminent departures, 2 completed sales, and Chris Boyd and Chris Sutton heavily criticizing Todd Canwell and making jokes about his potential exit. Make sure to like the video and let's get into the news. Let's start with yanis Haji. It looks like yanis Haji is set to leave Rangers, with Fiorentina winning the race to sign the Romanian winger. According to Digisport, the Serie A side has beaten Alaves and Real Valladolid to secure Haji's signature. Last season, Haji was on loan at Alaves and seemed to fall in love with La Liga, saying he wanted to stay in Spain for a long time. But it appears he's had a change of heart, as he's now on the brink of joining Fiorentina in a deal worth £2.1 million, with a 10% sell-on clause included. Fiorentina must have made Haji an offer he couldn't refuse, especially since they managed to outbid 2 Spanish clubs. He's believed to have agreed to a contract worth just over £16,000 a week in Italy. Not too shabby, eh? It's been a roller coaster 3 years for Haji at Rangers, filled with highs, lows, and a major injury. He's well within his rights to choose the best offer for his career now. Assuming the move goes through soon, he'll leave without having featured for Philippe Clement, who took over after Michael Beale sent Haji out on loan to Alaves. yanis Haji is about to embark on a new adventure in Serie A with Fiorentina. We wish him all the best and look forward to seeing who Clement brings in next to bolster our squad. Sam Lammer's exit from Rangers to FC Twente is not just shaking things up for us, but also putting a few quid into the pockets of 2 other Dutch clubs. Let's dive into the details. According to Rick Elfrink from Eindhoven's Dagblad, the confirmed deal to send Lammers back to the Eredivisie will see PSV Eindhoven pocket about £84,000, and Willem II will snag £8,500. This is all thanks to the UEFA Solidarity Payment Rules, which compensate clubs for training players between the ages of 12 and 23. Now there's been a bit of back and forth on the total value of this deal. Tutto Mercato Web's Andrea Losapio initially reported it could be worth up to £4.2 million, but Sky Sports later mentioned that add-ons would take the deal to just under £4 million in total. So why the buzz around Lammers? Well, his time in Glasgow was, let's say, less than stellar. He managed only 2 goals for us after his £3.5 million signing from Atalanta last summer. Talk about a costly mistake by Michael Beale. But hey, everyone makes mistakes, right? The good news is that Lammers found his form again on loan at FC Utrecht, scoring 11 goals in 20 appearances. FC Utrecht wanted him back, but his Rangers contract priced them out. The same happened with NEC Nijmegen. So securing a permanent exit is a positive step, even if it means sharing the fee with PSV and Willem II. Philippe Clement had no plans for Lammers in the first team, so freeing up his wages and getting some cash, even after solidarity payments, is a win for us. Both sides can now move on from what turned out to be a pretty big signing blunder. A bit of financial juggling, a fresh start for Lammers, and hopefully some smart reinvestments for us. Let's talk about the latest buzz around Todd Canwell. Our man Cantwell has reportedly had his head turned by offers to exit Rangers, following a not-so-happy relationship with manager Philippe Clement. Derek Ferguson isn't too surprised by this turn of events, given the friction between the two. Clement spilled the beans after our defeat at Birmingham City, revealing that Cantwell has twice asked to leave the club and will be training with the B team until we find him a new home. According to the Scottish Sun, multiple clubs back in England are keen on snapping him up. Derek Ferguson shared his thoughts with Rangers News, saying, "In a way, I'm not surprised. I've always had an inkling that there was a bit of unhappiness between the two of them." But Clement comes out and says that they've had a good relationship with Todd. From the outside looking in, I don't think it's come across that way. Ferguson added, "I don't think Todd Cantwell is Philippe Clement's type of player. That's clear to see. Cantwell needs that bit of freedom in the number 10 role to go and express himself. The way the manager sets up his team doesn't play into Todd's hands. Maybe Cantwell's had to think about it, spoken to a few people around him, and those offers have turned his head." Cantwell, like Sam Lammers, finds himself with the B team for now, as suggestions of clashes with Clement have been brewing since the Belgians' early days in Glasgow. Talking on Todd Canwell, Chris Boyd, our legendary striker, has been rather vocal about Cantwell's hit-or-miss spell at Rangers, and it's hard to disagree. Cantwell's time with us has been more about social media antics and spats with Chris Sutton than about his performance on the pitch. He was labeled one of the best players in the Premiership by then Livingston boss David Martindale back in September. In truth, however, Cantwell rarely ever lived up to that billing. He will forever be remembered as TikTok Todd, Boyd size. What a shame the way it's turned out at Rangers for a player with a huge amount of talent and ability. But there's only one person Todd Canwell can blame for the way it eventually ended up for him at Rangers: himself. I'm sure he'll point to the fact he didn't get picked by Philippe Clement in certain games, adds Boyd, the former England under-21 international starting the final 2 league clashes with Celtic on the bench and also being dropped for the Europa League decider with Benfica. But the reason Cantwell is desperate to get out of Rangers is because he doesn't have the mentality to play at a club that size. The fact is, Cantwell didn't justify his place in the Rangers lineup often enough. In 65 appearances, he scored 14 goals, which roughly works out at a goal every 4.5 games. I'm sorry, for someone with his ability in the final third, that's just not good enough. We've never seen a player with a determination to get into the team and prove his manager wrong for leaving him out. Not out on the pitch, where it matters. For Sutton, determined to have the last laugh, Cantwell's desire to leave Scottish football behind comes as no surprise. He sides with Boyd too, arguing that the so-called Dirham Deco has seldom displayed the sort of fierce competitiveness required from all players who want to make a success of themselves on the old firm. It doesn't seem he's got the stomach or the temperament, Sutton argues. It's a strange one. Normally, when a player talks about wanting a new challenge, it's because they have achieved so much. Cantwell hasn't achieved much at Rangers. And what will he be remembered for? It's a chance missed by Cantwell. I've always said there is talent there, and he had a tremendous platform at Rangers. But you need to produce consistently on the pitch. Here's the latest on the Joan Jordan saga. According to the Scottish Sun, our bid to bring the Sevilla midfielder to Rangers has hit a snag. Turns out, Joan Jordan isn't too keen on swapping sunny Spain for Scotland, especially with Espanyol showing interest. Despite Sevilla being okay with our loan proposal, which would cover 60% of his wages, Jordan just doesn't fancy the move. It's a bit of a blow, considering he was one of our main targets for the summer. But here's the thing. If Jordan isn't on board with Philippe Clement's vision and our club's ambitions, he's probably not the right fit for us anyway. We need players who are fully committed and eager to be part of what we're building at Rangers. Time's ticking in the transfer market, and we can't afford to waste it chasing a player who doesn't want to be here. We've got to move on to other targets who are excited about the opportunity to join Rangers and contribute to our success. There are plenty of talented players out there who would jump at the chance to play for us. Let's find those who share our passion and are ready to hit the ground running. Onward and upward, Rangers fans. The hunt for new talent continues. Our latest signing, Vaclav Kerney, is an immediate upgrade on the right wing, making selection decisions a whole lot easier for the gaffer. Clement has hinted that players have verbally agreed to join Rangers, and Kerney's recent comments suggest that the boss is a man of his word. The Czech winger couldn't wait to make the move, saying, "It is a very nice day for me. I am happy to be here and I can't wait to get started." From the first talks with the manager, it gave me a very good feeling, and from there on, it went pretty fast. I was happy about the contact and just couldn't wait to come down here and be here and experience it all. Despite the current state of the club, both on and off the pitch and with Rangers out of commission, Rangers still have a lot of pulling power. Clement is the sort of manager that players, if they have the right mindset, want to play for. Now there are still key positions to fill, especially a midfield enforcer to complement our squad. Niels Koppen is the man in charge of recruitment, but it looks like Clement is still playing a significant role in bringing in new talent. The name on everyone's lips is Lawrence Shankland. Not only is he the SFWA Player of the Year, but he also snagged the Golden Boot for the 2023-24 season. This guy is a guaranteed goal machine, and he might just be the key to closing the gap between us and those green-clad neighbors, Celtic. Derek Ferguson had a chat with the Daily Record and dropped some intriguing insider knowledge. All eyes will be on what's going to happen with Lawrence Shankland and whether or not Rangers can come up with an offer which will tempt hearts into doing business, Ferguson said. From what I hear, the interest is very real. The tricky part? Agreeing on a price. Shankland turns 29 next month and has only 1 year left on his current contract. Both clubs will have their own ideas about his market value, and those numbers are probably miles apart. I just hope they manage to find a way to meet in the middle, Ferguson added. This is a signing that would be good for all parties. According to Hack, Shankland is indeed on Rangers' wish list, alongside QPR target man and fellow Scotland international Lyndon Dykes. The Edinburgh News suggests a deal for Shankland could be around £5 million. Ferguson is confident that Shankland would be a great fit for Rangers. Proven goal scorers are harder to find, and Shankland is right there, in front of his nose. I have to be respectful because he's still a Hearts player, but if a fee can be agreed that Hearts are happy with, it's a no-brainer. Rangers would be crazy not to try to make it happen. Imagine the scene. Shankland holding up that Rangers scarf, and the fans breathing a sigh of relief, knowing exactly what he brings to the team. Goals and plenty of them. Shankland scored 31 goals across all competitions last term, with 28 the season before. In fact, he's managed 28 or more in 5 of the last 7 years. So keep your eyes peeled, Rangers fans. The manager's big rebuild is just beginning, and Shankland could be the next big piece of the puzzle. I'll be back with more bombastic and exclusive Rangers news at any moment. If you don't want to miss any, just hit the like button and subscribe to our channel, all right? We are the people.